What's up, all you beautiful people out there in the world? Sending you some love vibrations. Vibe. I'm Dank Fart, the pirate poet. Fart is spelled P-H-A-R-T, is an acronym for pretty hot and reasonably talented. I'm here today to drop in with you about my visions and ideals of the future of thriving artists and how they're going to be the backbone of the economy. And when I say artist, that is a very diverse term for me. An artist, in my worldview, is anybody that does anything that they really are impassioned by and really just through the process of it creates their highest joy and gives them moments of pure liberation by being fully embedded and embraced in the process of what you would call within the flow state. And so today I'm going to talk about what I call the rise of the creative class. And I believe that as the creative class becomes emergent, more emergent, it is already starting to take shape. It will be kind of like the rise of the merchant class back in, I believe, the 15th century. Italy was a major part of it, but all these different hubs and different places around the world that were able to start taking ships and exploring different far off places and exploring all of these different cultures and bringing things back, and then they were able to sell them, which merchants selling stuff were able to become very empowered, and it completely radically shifted the power dynamics of the world, within the parts of the world where those were, and really started to break some of the hold that the church and noble class, and well, the noble class were part of the church. They were ordained and told to be put in power essentially by the church and were stewards of the church. And so then it was kind of, the merchant class was kind of a first kind of rising, not at first, but part of the process of rising towards self determination within people. But the merchant class still became a class that was creating structures for their own empowerment and to continue to ensure their influence, just as the previous political structure were doing for themselves, and ensuring their own political power and to self-serve, and it's really not supporting the people. But I believe within the creative class, what the creative class is all of these amazing empowered individual creators out there in the world. I'm here in my basement. I've got a few cameras, a single camera, and a few lights. A few lights is what I meant. And it's all pretty affordable. All my gear is well under, all of it together, it's probably maybe like $500. And then also the means of distribution through the internet are there. And so we have the ability as creators, whatever creation that you do, if you're making cars, you can film it, create content around it, put it out there to the world, whatever that is you and your love and your passion and your process. And we will be able to then, as grow, become more abundant through creating our audiences and the means of distribution and the means of content creation. And these are just going to continue to become more and more affordable for anybody and everybody. And then it's just about, what are you impassioned about? What do you want to give out to the world and put it out there, and then figure out how it can unfold. And then there's also an element of you putting out the groundwork, not just in the digital sphere, but also in the real world sphere. If you're in communities, go make community, find other artists and create collaboration and supporting each other in your creative process. It will enhance your creative process, talking about other people's creative processes. It'll inspire you, and so it just kind of continues to feed. And as we become better at managing our content and getting it out there to the world and grow our audiences, and through micro contributions, because with digital products or digital art mainly is what I'm talking about, could be also film pieces. Once you create that, the overhead is just the distribution and the keeping up of the web portals of wherever it is accessible. So the overhead is an initial upfront cost, but there isn't much continual overhead. And you have an audience, you have an audience of like 6,000 people, you put $2,000 into developing something, some content, and you get 6,000 people to contribute $1, to support it because they like it, and they will support you, and they know that they want to see the work you're doing in the world succeed. And 6,000 people is not very many at all, and $1, and then all of a sudden you've got, what is it, 4,000 from a $2,000 investment. And if you get that 6,000 people, they're probably going to share it with their community, and you'll get some more on top of that for that. And then some of it goes back into creating, and it just continues to be a seed that continues to grow if you are mindful of how you're spending your money, and you're not overspending, and you're putting some of your investments back into what your projects were, so it continues to self-grow. And within that, I also, within my life and how I create my work, every major project that I release that has a financial purchasing component to it, or even a fundraising component, will be giving to different organizations that are doing work that I not necessarily have the time and the energy to be doing myself. But if I am financially abundant and I put a percentage of book sales or fundraiser or crowdfunding sales, and I put those towards organizations that are doing work that I believe is doing positive work in the world, me being a more thriving human being, more thriving artist, also creates more thriving projects out into the world. And as a model, I predict as people see that, it will become something that becomes more of the standard. And so all of a sudden, thriving communities, thriving artists are creating the financial support for a thriving world outside of us. And so that's where all of a sudden we become a powerful class of individuals, financially empowered, that are also empowering the world and sharing our gifts and sharing from our heart space. In a way that feeds the world and creates more prosperity for all of us together. And it'll be a whole new economic thriving class. And with everything that's going on with the world and isolations and social distancing and working from home, it was already laid out and prepared to happen, and now it's even more. I've got a Patreon, and there's other platforms besides Patreon that help artists create direct relationships with their fan base, and then getting the fans excited enough to give micro contributions. The future of this is all going to be supported through micro contributions. It's not going to be $15 for an album. It's going to be massive amounts of audience contributing small amounts directly to the artists, and the artists being in control of the distribution. And through this, it will then, I imagine, also labels and stuff coming through this model and focusing more on getting the content to the people directly, and then the people being inspired because they see what's going on and they want to support. And it's about small micro contributions from large numbers of people, because again, with digital products, there's a lot of energy and time that goes into the forefront, but once the product's created, the overhead just exponentially drops. And even if you put $60,000 into a project, and if you have $60,000 to put into a project, that's like a lot. And I'm talking again around art and just digital content. But you say for a movie, movies are really expensive to make, the equipment and everything. So that's an independent movie for like $60,000. You have that much money to invest in it. And if you invested that much money in it, I would hope that you have enough savings, or you've invested in it so you're not going all in a way that would sink you. But you then distribute it to the community and get it out to people, and it's exciting. It's good quality stories, and when you've got the marketing dialed in, you sell you get 300,000 people to contribute $1 to watch it. You've made really good ROI. And then if that 300,000 people, there'll be more. It'll just continue to grow. And you never have to recreate this. It's not a physical product, so there's no recreating it. It's just there and putting it out there and creating it and getting it out there. And this is going to help establish a renaissance in all the arts and life and creativity, and we'll be able to be thriving, and we're going to have the creative class as we rise up into our power and sharing our gifts with this creative, powerful, beautiful world that is creation. I'll be sure to check out my campaign, the poem, the Peace on Earth movement, and the Peaceful Mother Lover Challenge, where we all make peace on Earth by making peace signs on the earth and contributing $1. go 33% of every dollar goes to organizations helping to support a more beautiful planet through permaculture, regenerative culture, plant medicines, and psychedelics, so we can cultivate a more healthy planet. And that goes into what I was talking about, how all my projects and everything that I do, fundraisers, always going to have a percentage of that goes back to community and supporting in that. And part of the reason why I can really do that is because I'm in control of every end of the distribution, the content creation. And so when even when I create a team, it will be me going directly and creating all the steps for myself. At least now I don't ever, and if I do sign, when I do, I'm down to have an agent as I continue to grow my brand to help me get my stuff out there and booking and all of that stuff, because I don't want to do all of that myself. But I will never, there's no reason for me to ever sign to a traditional contract within books and stuff when I can be in control of it. And if I need to, and have, by the time I'm ready to have it be available internationally in structures and stuff, we can navigate it at that point. Because if that is happening, it means I have enough of a solid foundation that I can figure it out at that level. It's like real raw entrepreneurship is kind of what I'm interested in as an artist. And my larger vision is to create the infrastructure and models for what a lot of I'm talking about to thrive. Their pieces are there and they're all scattered. Bandcamp is a great model of music distribution. Patreon is a good system for creating that direct artist to audience support. But we're still in the very beginning phases of this, and it will just continue to grow and continue to grow. And I'm planning on being a beacon that helps step into that empowerment. Thank y'all so much for being here. Check out my Patreon, patreon.com/dankfart, DANKPHART. I'm also on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and YouTube. I'm creating the content. If anybody out there sees me and is inspired and wants to help distribute my content, that would be fucking great. I'm deep in the content creation aspect, doing a lot of reaching out and networking, but between my family and everything, the content of the creation takes up so much of my time, and life is busy. Thank you so much for being here with me. I love and appreciate you. Be sure to follow, like, subscribe, comment, all of the things. I'm a poet, just here to share my story, but having to learn all the back ends of all the things if I'm going to make it happen. Thank you for being here with me. Much love. Peace out.